Like, literally, when I get harassment that actually is original, I kind of have this moment of like, oh, cool, you tried. Right? Because the thing is, it's just all the same. If you Google my name on YouTube, you get shitheads like this dude who are making these dumbass videos that just say the same shit over and over again. I need to give you attention because you're a garbage human. Whatever, dude.
So yeah, Jesus, tell us what you think about Anita's performance at VidCon.
Well, I mean, who am I to judge? But I did see a little bit of hypocrisy in what she had to say. You know, I'm sure there's maybe a little bit more context that I need to be aware of, but come on, really, turn the other cheek. Be like you. Don't do anything I wouldn't do. Come on.
The reason that women aren't getting paid the same isn't ultimately because women don't ask right. It's because there's massive structural barriers stopping women from being paid the same. And it's not just about overt sexism in the workplace, it's about the fact that we don't value carers, and we don't share care.
Anne's spleen is about to erupt. Anne, what is your response to that?
The pay gap does not mean two people standing side by side, one man, one woman, on a factory line, doing exactly the same job, and the man getting more. The way that the comparability of the pay gap is assessed is taking into account such things as women tend to work more part-time, then trying to take two completely separate jobs and say, well, what are the attributes required, and trying to get some sort of forced comparability. Well, we've come to that point now, from a point in which you really could have two people side by side doing exactly the same thing, lawfully being paid completely different rates.
Well,
so I don't actually buy into this. Our problem is this. We've actually got equality and we don't know what to do with it. So now we want special favours like positive discrimination. Oh, bless us all.
Equal pay is not enough.
Here at Darlington, students learn to push through boundaries. How to make an impact. And really leave a mark.
Because here at Darlington, if you touch a girl without consent,
we will f you up.
The first thing I want to talk about is the hashtag All Lives Matter. Please don't use it. That hashtag was made to derail the Black Lives Matter movement. I've just had enough of this because there was a time, like not too long ago, where I was scrolling through Twitter and every single day a black person was shot, a black person was shot, a black person was shot. It's tiring to hear that people do this kind of shit. How can you not expect people to think that it's racism? People keep saying it's not about race, it's not about race. But it is. How are you so blind to that? Everyone says that, oh, you're thinking it way too deep. It's really not that deep. Everything is.
But what I realized the other day is that there are more major characters in Game of Thrones that have red hair than there are black or Asian characters. And in case you were wondering, the population of black and Asian people in the entire world is much, much, much larger than the population of redheads. And I don't really give a fuck about the accuracy of redhead representation. I'm more concerned about the lack of representation of people of color in fantasy, just in general. One of the main arguments I received is that Westeros, which is the main region in Game of Thrones that is explored, but it does occasionally diverge from that, is based on medieval Europe. So when I talk about representation of Game of Thrones, but just in general, I'm not talking about, well, it only focuses on Europe and that's why there were no black people. I'm thinking of the motivations and the reasons and the potential biases that the author or the show creators might have had that would make them want to only focus on Europe.
I am 17.
22.
18.
I'm 15 and I live in Dallas, Texas.
I think people in my generation
are less tolerant to blatant racism.
Kids nowadays tend to grow up thinking that the problem's in the past.
I don't see color.
It feels bad to know that I am better off because I was born this way.
I would be in jail if I wasn't white.
Contraband check. What are these?
I don't know.
What do you mean you don't know?
I don't know how they got there.
Well, I think you do know.
No, Derek was in here earlier. He was making the beds. He probably put them, I was in the John. You guys are Nazis, man! You're freaking Nazis!
I'm going to start out right away with asking you, in what ways do you see yourself as intersectional?
I'm trans and non-binary and a woman and atheist and polyamorous.
Nice.
Yeah.
Wow.
You fucking what, mate?
The process of discovering my whiteness and how deep it goes and how unconscious it is has been long and meandering. It's about the assumption that white is normal. It's about the deck being stacked. Something I've learned about my whiteness, it's slippery. Try calling white people white. One of the things that will happen is that a lot of white people will call you racist. What's really going on is they want you to protect them from never having to think about race. That's protecting their privilege. The privilege to walk through life whistling and not having to think about it.
Gay!
Hey guys, it's me, Haydenji, and today I'm going to talk about something that I don't think should be a touchy subject, but it kind of is. I'm going to be talking about the Black Lives Matter movement. And I know I'm not a person of color, so I am not a voice for the people of color community, but I'm just giving my thoughts on All Lives Matter versus Black Lives Matter. And I think this is just a stupid conversation to have. The All Lives Matter campaign is just overall a dumb thing. But I'm just going to give you my thoughts. Of course Black Lives Matter, and of course all lives matter, but the point of the All Lives Matter movement is just to belittle the idea that Black Lives Matter. Of course all lives fucking matter. Duh, all lives fucking matter. But that's not the point. We're talking about Black lives right now. If I was alright, I'm gonna talk about how much I love carrots, and someone was all pieces of salad matter. Of course fucking all pieces of salad matter, but right now I'm talking about fucking carrots. Fuck you. We're talking about carrots right now.